What if the last digit of the year you were born were not a random coincidence of human calendar, but a carefully orchestrated vibrational key that reveals the specific mission your soul chose to work on in this particular incarnation? A numerical code that carries precise divine frequency, a specific cosmic musical note in the great symphony of the universe that is constantly unfolding. What few realize is that each number, far from being merely an abstract symbol of quantity or arbitrary marker of chronological time, literally carries a distinct spiritual frequency, a particular quality of consciousness, a specific aspect of the divine wanting to express itself through individual forms. Paramahansa Yogananda taught that God expresses himself through exact mathematical and harmonic laws, that the entire universe is held together by sacred geometric proportions and precise numerical relationships, that numbers are much more than counting tools but living forms of consciousness, each vibrating at a unique frequency. You were not born in a year randomly chosen by blind fate. Time literally chose you, or more precisely, your soul, in its infinite wisdom, chose to be born at a specific moment, whose numerical vibration would resonate perfectly with the particular energy you came to express, balance, and master in this life. Today, you will discover what silent but profoundly transformative power sleeps within your destiny number, waiting to be awakened through conscious recognition and deliberate spiritual work, and in the process of understanding the secret language of numbers that governs your existence. You will gain access to dimensions of self-knowledge that have remained hidden, perhaps throughout your entire life, because you were looking at the number as mere temporal marker instead of recognizing it as sacred symbol of soul purpose encoded in universal mathematical form. According to the profound teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda, who united ancient wisdom of the East with scientific understanding of the West in harmonious synthesis, God, the infinite consciousness that permeates and sustains all existence, expresses himself not only through living biological forms but also through precise mathematical laws, sacred geometric proportions, and exact numerical harmonies that govern from rotation of planets to structure of atoms. Numbers are not arbitrary human inventions imposed on chaotic reality to create artificial order, but discoveries of fundamental patterns already present in the very structure of creation. Each number represents specific form of divine consciousness, particular aspect of the infinite, manifesting through finite but universal principle. Just as the sacred sound "I," when pronounced or deeply meditated upon, contains within itself all possible tones of creation, including those the human ear cannot capture, each number carries within its apparently simple form a complex and multidimensional spiritual vibration, not only quantity but quality, not only measure but meaning, not only symbol but living substance of consciousness, operating in dimension where mathematics and mysticism meet. 0 contains the mystery of fertile void from which everything emerges and to which everything returns. 1 vibrates with energy of singularity, beginning, pioneering leadership. 2 resonates with duality-seeking union, polarities, yearning for harmony. But what if you could use this knowledge not just as interesting intellectual curiosity, but as powerful practical tool of self-knowledge and spiritual transformation? Yogananda taught that the last digit of your birth year, that final number that closes the date, marking your entry into this physical plane, indicates the specific vibrational energy you came to balance, develop, master in this particular life. It is a mysterious link between your past karma carried from previous lives and your present dharma, which is your unique purpose in this incarnation. It's not rigid determinism that eliminates free will, but gentle indication of tendencies, inclinations, challenges, and particular gifts your soul knew it would encounter by choosing to be born in that specific year. Practical application begins simply. Identify the last digit of the year you were born. If born in 1987, your number is 7. If born in 2002, your number is 2. If born in 1990, your number is Rho. And then approach this number not as mere temporal marker, but as sacred symbol carrying specific message from your soul to your conscious personality. Meditate on it, study its meanings in different spiritual traditions, observe how its qualities manifest in your life, and declare, "My birth number is not accident, but vibrational code chosen by my soul. I honor its wisdom, I work consciously with its energy. I allow it to reveal increasingly deeper layers of purpose and potential within me." The law of karma, that fundamental principle of cause and effect operating through multiple lives and dimensions of existence, works in precise cycles, not in chaotic linear progression, and numbers are literally the mathematical codes through which these cycles are organized, measured, and understood. Each incarnation is not an isolated event, but part of larger series of lives connected by invisible threads of unresolved karma and unfulfilled dharma. And these lives organize themselves in cyclical patterns that can be numerically mapped: 7-year cycles, 9 life cycles, 12-stage cycles of soul development, all governed by specific numerical relationships that are not arbitrary, but reflect mathematical order inherent to consciousness itself. When a soul prepares to incarnate again, descending from astral and causal planes where it resides between physical lives, it doesn't simply fall randomly into any body at any moment, like a leaf carried by wind. It chooses with surgical precision, guided by exact karmic laws and superior wisdom, a specific time whose numerical vibration resonates harmonically with the particular evolutionary purpose it seeks to work on in that specific life. This is why serious astrologers and authentic numerologists can identify real patterns and make valid predictions, not because they're reading fixed destiny written in stone, but because they're decoding mathematical language through which karma and dharma express themselves in time and space. Yogananda told about a disciple who was born in 1947, number 7, and struggled for years with strong tendency toward isolation, excessive introspection, difficulty connecting with others, until Master explained that 7 carries vibration of mystic, of solitary seeker of truth, of spiritual hermit, and that his soul had chosen to be born under this vibration precisely because in previous lives he had been excessively extroverted, dispersing energy in superficial socialization without ever developing interior depth. In this life, the karmic challenge was to develop the opposite: introspection, contemplation, connection with interior dimensions. When disciple understood this, he stopped fighting against his introspective nature and began to work consciously with it through deep meditation. And paradoxically, the more he honored the energy of 7, the more balanced he became, eventually managing to integrate interior depth with healthy external connection. So spiritual practice is not to ignore or repress tendencies indicated by your birth number, but to consciously recognize them, understand their karmic purpose, and deliberately work to develop them in higher and more balanced expression, declaring, "Nothing in my life is coincidence. Even the specific year I was born was chosen by my soul's superior wisdom. The number that marks my birth is mirror of my consciousness. I observe it with loving curiosity to discover what my soul is trying to teach me through it. Number 0, that perfect circle without beginning or end, containing everything and apparently nothing, carries the vibration of divine void, of absolute mystery that precedes all manifestation and remains present even in the midst of densest creation. If you were born in a year ending in 0, your soul is called to transcend the small and limited ego, to reveal the infinite through the finite, to remain in constant paradox between form and void, between action and non-action, between being someone and being no one simultaneously. Your greatest challenge is not to lose yourself in nihilism that confuses void with absence, when in fact void is fullness without limits, and your greatest gift is natural capacity to access states of consciousness beyond duality, where polarities dissolve into transcendent unity. Number 1 vibrates with energy of the initiator, of the pioneer who opens paths where no one has walked before, of the leader who carries light through unknown territories, guiding others who will come after. If you were born under vibration of 1, soul came to develop courage to begin new cycles without guarantees, independence that doesn't need external approval, originality that expresses unique vision without conforming to established patterns. Your karmic challenge is to balance need for autonomy with capacity for collaboration. Avoid trap of selfishness that confuses healthy leadership with controlling domination. And your natural gift is ability to inspire others through your own example, to manifest what seemed impossible through focused will and unshakable determination. Number 2 resonates with vibration of the peacemaker, of receptive and diplomatic energy that seeks to harmonize opposites, unite what is separated, heal divisions through deep empathic understanding. Being born under 2, you came to learn lessons of cooperation, sensitivity to others' needs, patience to allow processes to develop in their own timing instead of forcing results prematurely. Your challenge is to avoid losing yourself completely in others, needs forgetting your own. Develop gentle firmness that can say no when necessary without paralyzing guilt. And your extraordinary gift is capacity to see all sides of complex situation and find connection points where others see only irreconcilable conflict. And so the archetypes continue. 3 vibrates as creator expressing through art, inspired communication, contagious joy that elevates others. Its challenge is to develop discipline without suffocating spontaneity. Use creative gifts to serve instead of just impress. 4 carries solid energy of builder, who gives material form to abstract visions through disciplined work and meticulous attention to details. Its challenge is to avoid rigidity that makes it impossible to adapt to necessary changes. Remember that structures are means to greater ends, not ends in themselves. 5 vibrates with restless freedom of explorer, who learns through direct experience and constant change. Challenge is to develop focus without losing flexibility. Complete what you start instead of compulsively jumping to next novelty. 6 resonates as responsible guardian who seeks balance between serving others and nurturing self. Challenges to avoid martyrdom that secretly resents sacrifices it chose to make. 7 carries mystical depth of seeker who yearns for truth beyond superficial appearances. Challenge is not to lose yourself in isolation that cuts connection with humanity. 8 manifests power of achiever who masters material world for spiritual purposes. Challenge is to use abundance with wisdom. Remember that power corrupts when disconnected from compassion. And 9 completes the cycle as compassionate one who loves universally and releases what no longer serves. Challenge is to let go without bitterness. Complete cycles with grace. The essential practice is to study deeply not only your own number but all 10, because although 1 is primary for you in this life, all operate in different dimensions of your consciousness, and understanding the complete wheel allows navigating your journey with growing wisdom. Meditating. Each number is face of God. My primary number is particular door through which I enter the temple of self-knowledge. I honor my number while recognizing that eventually I need to transcend all numerical limitations to realize the infinite beyond all numbering. True mastery of working with spiritual numerology comes not from memorizing abstract meanings in books, but from observing with loving attention and implacable honesty how your number's energy actually manifests concretely in choices you make, in challenges you repeatedly face, in gifts that seem to come naturally without effort, because number is not theoretical concept floating in ether, but living pattern, operating through every thought, emotion, and action of yours, even when you're not conscious of it. If you were born under vibration of 1, Observe how you naturally assume leadership in situations where others hesitate, how you rarely accept external authority without questioning, how you feel deep need to do things your way, even when cooperation would be more efficient. But also observe the shadow. Moments when independence becomes proud isolation, when self-confidence transforms into arrogance that cannot learn from others, when need to be first creates destructive competitiveness instead of inspiring leadership. The number doesn't limit you to fixed patterns without possibility of growth. It simply guides, shows where your soul is actively polishing specific facets of your multifaceted light, indicates areas that need special attention in this particular life. Yogananda shared the story of a woman born under vibration of 6, who spent first half of life obsessively sacrificing for family, friends, social causes, always putting others' needs before her own, until developing deep resentment that poisoned all her relationships. She was living the shadow aspect of 6 without balance. Only when Master showed her that true service comes from overflow of interior fullness, not from depletion of unrecognized emptiness, and that she needed to nurture herself first to have something genuine to offer, did she begin to transform destructive pattern into healthy expression of 6 energy, learning that caring for self was not selfishness, but spiritual necessity, that you cannot pour from empty cup. The transformative practice is to regularly ask this profound, reflective question: how is my number's energy manifesting in my life at this moment, in its highest expression as developed gift, or in its darkest expression as unresolved challenge? Be brutally honest in the answer, not to judge yourself, but to see clearly where conscious work is necessary, and then ask, how can I honor this number's energy today in a way that serves my spiritual growth and benefits everyone around me? And declare, my number doesn't imprison me in rigid patterns, but liberates me through self-knowledge. The more consciously I work with its energy, the more it transforms from unconscious limitation into conscious power. We arrive at the point where theoretical understanding needs to transform into direct experience through concrete spiritual practice, because you can study number meanings for years. But if you never actually meditate on your personal number, never establish living and dynamic connection with the vibration it carries, all knowledge remains abstract and without real transformative power. The technique I'll share now, inspired by contemplative practices that Yogananda taught about concentration on sacred symbols, allows you to go beyond intellectual understanding of number and enter into direct communion with the living consciousness it represents. Find a completely tranquil place where you can sit without being interrupted for the next 15 to 20 minutes. Adopt comfortable posture, but with erect spine, allowing energy to flow freely. Close your eyes gently and begin breathing deeply and slowly until mental turbulence diminishes and you feel relative inner calm establishing itself. When centered, bring to the mind screen the image of the final digit of your birth year. See it clearly, as if written in golden light against background of darkness, a unique symbol floating in interior space of consciousness. Now, instead of just passively visualizing, begin to mentally repeat the number as if it were sacred mantra, as if it were primordial sound carrying specific divine vibration. If your number is 7, repeat silently, 777, with smooth and constant rhythm, not mechanically but with total attention focused on each repetition, feeling the sound resonating through different levels of your being. As you continue repeating, allow meanings you studied about the number to arise spontaneously in consciousness. If it's 7, perhaps feel mystical depth, desire for contemplative solitude, search for hidden truths, but don't force anything. Just observe what emerges naturally when you meditate on the symbol. After several minutes of focused repetition of the number Ani, add visualization of corresponding colored light. Expanding from center of chest and filling entire body, each number has associated vibrational color that advanced practitioners can perceive, but you can simply use intuition to choose color that seems to resonate with your particular number. Finish the practice, affirming, with conviction, I am perfect expression of divine time. My birth in specific year was not accident, but wise choice of my soul. I honor my number's vibration. I work consciously with its energy. I allow it to reveal increasingly deeper layers of purpose within me. Practice daily for at least 21 days and observe how relationship with your number deepens, how insights about life patterns begin to emerge spontaneously, how capacity to consciously work with numerological energy gradually develops. But here is the supreme revelation that completely inverts conventional understanding about relationship between you and time, marked by calendar numbers. You were not born in a year as if entering pre-existing temporal container waiting to receive you. In a deeper dimension of spiritual reality, it was the year that was born in you. It was time that folded and curved to accommodate entry of eternal consciousness into temporal manifestation. Soul doesn't enter time like traveler entering train already in motion. It's time that reorganizes itself around soul like water reorganizes around stone thrown in lake, creating concentric waves of synchronicity and meaning that radiate from the point of consciousness's entry into physical plane. This is not mere mystical poetry, but literal description of how reality functions at levels that quantum physics is only beginning to map. Time is not objective, independent straight line flowing uniformly from past to future, carrying events passively, but construction of consciousness, dimension, created by very presence of conscious observers, and profoundly shaped by quality of consciousness observing it. When powerful soul incarnates, when spiritual master is born, when avatar descends, the very fabric of time-space around that birth is transformed, permanently marked, charged with meaning that remains numerically encoded for those who know how to read the language. Yogananda taught that your birth number is echo of eternity, constant reminder that although you seem to be trapped in human clock that ticks inexorably, marking seconds, minutes, years, until apparently inevitable death, your true nature exists completely outside time. The number is paradoxically both mark of your entry into time and symbol of your timeless nature, both record of when you were born temporally and code of who you are eternally. It's like a wave in ocean that has specific and momentary form, but is made of same substance as entire ocean without beginning or end. The practice that dissolves illusion of separation between you and time is to meditate deeply on this paradoxical truth until it ceases to be intellectual concept and becomes visceral realization. You are not creature of time, but creator of time at profound level of consciousness, and the number marking your temporal birth is simultaneously apparent limitation and portal to unlimited, declaring, "My birth number doesn't imprison me in time, but liberates me to recognize time as reflection of eternal consciousness I am. I use time consciously as tool of evolution instead of being unconsciously used by it. I dance with time, knowing I was never separated from eternity." But how to translate these elevated mystical understandings about nature of time and soul numerology into practical guidance for everyday decisions, concrete relationships, real-life choices? How to use your birth's numerical code not just as interesting spiritual curiosity, but as functional compass that actually guides you through complexities of modern existence. The answer lies in developing what we could call applied numerological consciousness, constant attention to how your primary number's energy is influencing perceptions, choices, reactions in real time, allowing you to make conscious adjustments when necessary. If you were born under vibration of 3, for example, and are considering job opportunity, pay special attention to how much space that work would offer for creative expression, for communication of ideas, for using natural gifts of inspiring others through words or art. Because when you're aligned with your number's energy, work flows naturally instead of draining, and you contribute unique value no one else can offer the same way. But also be vigilant about shadow tendencies of 3, like dispersing energy in multiple simultaneous projects without completing any, using superficial charm to avoid real depth, seeking constant external validation instead of developing internal approval. In relationships, understanding your own number and numbers of partners, friends, colleagues creates profound compassion, because you recognize that conflicts often arise not from ill will, but from different numerological energies operating through people without awareness. If you're 1 who values independence above all and partner is 2 who yearns for close union, there's no right or wrong, just 2 different vibrations needing to find harmony through conscious compromise and mutual respect. Every time you feel friction in a relationship, stop and ask, is this my number's energy trying to dominate without considering other numbers' legitimate needs? This simple question can dissolve tensions that seemed personal, but were merely numerological. And when doubt paralyzes you about which path to take, which decision to make, return consciously to your number as anchor. What would choice aligned with my number's energy be in this situation? How can I honor my numerological vibration while also serving greater good, and practice transforming even your birth date from mere biographical fact into living prayer, into constant reminder that you carry specific mission encoded in numerical form, affirming, my number is reliable guide that brings me back to harmony when I get lost in confusion. Every time I consciously align with its elevated energy, life flows with less resistance and more synchronicity. The ordinary becomes sacred when I live conscious of spiritual purpose, encoded even in the year of my birth. As you practice working consciously with your birth number's energy over months and years, something extraordinary and paradoxical gradually happens. The more deeply you honor and develop your number's specific qualities, the more you begin to transcend the very limitations the number apparently imposes, because you're using number not as ceiling, but as firm ground from which to leap into expanded consciousness beyond all categories. When you finally fully honor your birth's vibrational code, when you stop resisting the challenges it presents and begin to consciously work with them as growth opportunities, the entire universe literally aligns with your unique individual frequency. Doors that were closed begin to open. People who resonate with your vibration begin to appear synchronistically. Opportunities perfectly calibrated for your specific development begin to manifest with timing that seems miraculous but is simply law of resonance operating. Life gradually stops seeming like chaotic series of random, meaningless events without sense or connection, arbitrary chances happening to you without reason or purpose, and reveals itself as magnificently choreographed, conscious dance with the divine, where every movement has meaning, every encounter carries lesson. Every challenge offers exactly the difficulty necessary to forge next level of mastery. You're no longer passive victim of blind destiny, but active dancer cooperating with cosmic choreography. Musician playing your unique note in universal symphony with growing awareness of how your individual part contributes to harmony of the whole. Yogananda spoke about stages of spiritual development, where practitioner first identifies completely with limitations of physical form and temporal personality, then awakens to dimension of soul beyond body, but still maintaining sense of separate individuality, and finally realizes absolute unity with universal consciousness, where all separation dissolves. Working with spiritual numerology can facilitate this journey because number functions as bridge between personal and transpersonal, between individual and universal, between temporal and eternal. You begin by honoring your unique particularity numerically encoded, and this very act of honoring paradoxically allows eventually transcending all particularities. And here is the culminating realization that transforms everything. You are not merely child of time marked by calendar numbers. You are time itself awakening to itself. You are eternity experiencing itself through specific temporal lens, you are infinite consciousness, temporarily pretending to be limited for the joy of rediscovering its unlimitedness. Your birth number is both mask that hides and window that reveals this supreme truth, and the final practice is to declare with understanding that matures through years. I honor my number while recognizing I am infinitely more than any number can contain. I work consciously with numerological energy while remembering my true nature transcends all numbering. I dance in time while remaining anchored in eternity, and gradually, the distance between apparent limitation and real unlimitedness dissolves in recognition that there never was real separation. Each being is born in an instant that carries a unique vibration, the sound of God whispering who you are. Your birth number is not chance nor coincidence, but a divine code that reflects the purpose your soul chose to live in this incarnation. Each digit, from 0 to 9, is a face of the divine looking at itself, an aspect of infinite consciousness seeking to express itself through you. When you recognize which aspect you represent and live it consciously, you access deeper levels of power and meaning. The number doesn't limit or rigidly define your destiny. It only indicates tendencies and challenges your soul wanted to transform into wisdom. The more you cooperate with this energy, the more your life flows in harmony with the cosmic purpose that brought you here. If this message awakened something in you, don't allow this energy to be lost. Click, like, as affirmation that you choose to honor the wisdom encoded in your birth. Subscribe to continue exploring teachings that unite spirituality, science, and mysticism, revealing how even time carries divine messages. Share this video with those who seek to understand the greater purpose hidden in life's details, and, if you feel the call, write in the comments, "I am the divine code of my time." May the light of your being reveal the hidden meaning of the number that brought you to the world. May you have courage to live your qualities, face your challenges, and see in each synchronicity a loving reminder of universal consciousness. May your number not be a limitation, but a portal to recognize the eternity that dwells in you. And may, upon silencing the mind, you hear the gentle sound of God whispering your true name through the sacred language of numbers.